Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Traffic Commission public meeting of April 25th to order. Members present are Police Chief James Guido, City Planner Nick Rystrom, Fire Chief Mr. Bright, and Paula Genzio, myself. Could you join me in a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a moment?
Sure.
Out of order. I would just like to apologize to the residents of Beechmont, what went on with the one-way signs, and Councilor McKenna. Everybody had good intentions. We all realized we failed in how the neighborhood was notified, and we've all learned from that, everyone in city government. And going forward, whenever there's a change of that significance, the residents, wherever it is in the city, will get notified in advance, and hopefully we'll move forward. As far as Endicott Ave, myself and Sergeant Janino, when we were talking to Council McKenna about other one-way streets in Beechmont, felt we should address that problem also. It's a very dangerous situation during snowstorms in the winter with the MBTA bus and the traffic, and we've had numerous times that the cars could not move, the city could not plow, and it's been a big problem ever since I've been on this job. And we had lengthy discussion about just doing it in the winter or doing it all year round. And we decided we'd do a pilot program and try it all year round. And if it didn't work out, we could change it back. But we knew when we did it that we weren't going to please everybody, but the goal was to please the majority. I've learned through the years you can never make everybody happy. But I think it's our job as the Traffic Commission, the Police Department, elected officials, to do what's best for the majority of the people in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So I would ask the residents to let's give it a try for 60 days and see how it works out. And then if it's that much of a problem, we can address it again in the Traffic Commission. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chief Guido. The first item on the agenda for a public hearing is the proposal to make resident sticker parking citywide from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Before we get started, if Mr. Rose could come up, I just have a couple of questions I want to clear up before we get started. Thanks. Oh, yeah, Mike. Thanks, Jim.
Yes.
A couple of things we discussed at the last meeting, the possibility of having two different stickers, two different colors, one for overnight and one for commuter. Is that something you think can be accomplished?
Yes, I was talking to City Hall Systems this week. We have that all ironed out.
Okay.
That's something that we can actually use the stickers that we're enforcing now. Those blue stickers that are out there now can be actually used for overnight parking.
Okay.
And for the rest of the city, we could just go with a black or a gray, any color,
Okay.
and do the overnight parking.
That's great. And another thing was refrain from putting the person's address on the sticker. Is that okay, or that possible?
Good news.
Okay.
Yep, good news, finally. We're going to be able to abbreviate in the future the stickers for the neighborhood permit parking. That's something I've been working on. We're told in the past it was going to be too complicated, but as I research it further and further, that's something we're going to be able to do.
Okay, perfect. Now, the people that currently have commuter parking stickers, would they get a second overnight or sticker, or that would suffice?
That sticker will be suffice.
That would suffice, okay. One of the changes I see that we want to propose is a person that has a resident overnight sticker. We went back and forth whether it just be for the street they live on, adjacent streets. We now have an idea that anyone with an overnight sticker could park anywhere in the city. Do you have any objection to that?
Actually, that's the way I'd like to see the
Okay.
it laid out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but that person that has that overnight sticker certainly couldn't park in a commuter area.
Anywhere where we presently have restrictions, that they wouldn't be allowed to park overnight, no.
Okay. And one other thing I wanted to clear up, we would be enforcing this, I see a proposal for Monday through Friday, holidays excluded. Now, with this, is it Monday through Saturday, Monday through Friday?
Actually, we're going to try to start the program Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And Saturdays, during the summer holidays, a lot of the residents have visitors, a lot of people over the beach.
Okay.
Everything is going on, so Monday through Friday, I think, would be a good way to start the program.
Okay, thank you very much.
Beachmont also, yes. Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I have one question.
Obviously, unless it's otherwise posted. For
Yes, exactly,
for a
unless
specific
otherwise
reason.
posted, yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
Jimmy, should we phase this in?
Presently
Ward
the
at a
way,
time?
I thought it was originally one ward at a time. Actually, to put this program forth, I think that to lay it out, is there something that we're going to be trying to accomplish this year? Or are we going to try to put this program out, I think, maybe in January of next year? We could implement it this year, but I think with the parking permits, we've already issued 3,000 parking permits in the city for this year.
All right.
We could add on to that, but I think it's just going to be, a lot to do with, a little bit, we're rushing it a little too quickly. But your answer, Chief Guido, is we could do it ward or we could do it citywide, all at one time. Because we're not going to be doing it over at the office. We can't handle that. You're talking 34,000.
Right, so the soonest this could probably happen is in late fall.
Late fall.
By the time you do all the planning, get the vendor on for the POs to buy the stickers.
We're talking late fall. We're talking late fall. October, November, December, ideally set it up for January of next year.
I think if we're going to do it, we should do it right, even if it takes a little longer.
Without a doubt. A lot of other cities and towns have done it, and, we can do it, and a lot of other cities and towns are still tweaking their programs.
I have one last question, and I'm not sure of the answer. Most people, their biggest question is the visitor passes.
Yes.
How many do you get? How good is it? How long is it good for? So if you can just explain the plan for the visitor
All right.
passes.
The visitor pass, the way we presently have it, we're issuing two. We're going to actually cut it back one per permit. So if you come up and you get your regular permit for your excise tax, your resident there, you're going to be allowed one visitor pass. And that visitor pass is going to be good for 10 days per month. So if you had it on one particular vehicle for 10 days in a row, you wouldn't be able to use it on that vehicle. But you could use it for 30 days.
So is the visitor pass going to go to the unit or to every vehicle?
It will, well, there's two ways to obtain a visitor pass.
Because what if a home has 4 cars, they're going to get 4 visitor passes?
No.
I can't be for that.
No, I think we had agreed that it would be per household, one visitor pass per household.
To start.
To start.
To start.
Even if there's 4 registered vehicles in the
Yes.
car, we're still going to go with the one.
Right, because all 4 are not, shouldn't be having
No,
a
we get
visitor at the
right.
same time.
No,
Right.
I'm a full
The car
agreement with
isn't the
that.
visitor, the house
Vehicles shouldn't
getting a visitor.
dictate,
Right,
how many visitors.
How many
you have.
visitors?
Right, that's what
7,
I
8,
wanted
9
to
in a household.
clarify here.
Okay.
I'm on board with that. yeah.
Okay, good. I just wanted to be clear before we get public comments, so we all know what we're talking about when residents come up. All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, so I'd like to open up the side of the hearing. People that are in favor of this proposal, if they could come up and state your name and address.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, Arthur Guanasso, Ward 3 Council, and current President of the Revere City Council. I charge the Revere City Council with the responsibility of working with the Traffic Commission for the single most important issue facing our community today, and that's resident parking. Now, I heard Chief Guido mention earlier that, let's do that program and see how it goes, and then we can modify it. And then when it came to this decision, Chief, you said, well, we have to get it right before we start. I'm telling you from experience, for the past 3 to 4 years, we've been working on a resident parking. We had meetings in this chamber, you're never going to get a full resolution to start a program. What we do have the ability to is to modify as we go along. Now, hear me out in one thing. Ward 1 has several areas of resident parking because of their location to the rapid transit and public transportation. Ward 2 has that. Ward 3 doesn't have that, but yet we have a similar problem because we have a bus route along the whole strip, and we have people who take it upon themselves to go park for the whole day at these streets, all day, and then they leave it there at night. And Mr. Chairman, when you first started, you said 1 o'clock. I thought we had an agreement that it was 12 o'clock.
The way this reads now, it's 1 a.m. to 5 a.m.
That's very disingenuous. So what are we giving the residents, 4 hours? We might as well not have a program. I mean, we're not giving much of a leadway for individuals to get some rest here because they're always going to have a movement outside their properties. Now, I'm not trying to minimize the effort that's going to be taking place here. And now we're talking about implementing in January. The longer we draw, and I found out, again, through the many years that I've served in city government, the longer we draw out something, the more it becomes remote that it'll ever be implemented. So if we say January, and January comes and someone comes up at this podium, here we are again from day one. Well, in June, we're going to do this. And I see it happen more often than not, and I don't think that's beneficial to our community. Now, I know government works in snail's pace, and I'm one that likes to go a little faster. But I do think there are areas of our community that need help right away. And I know Ward 6 won't be really up in arms because it really doesn't affect them with the commuter problem. Because all of them, lucky enough, have large lots of land. They have ample parking. And so they're pretty much taken care of. As I heard some councilors say that it doesn't affect their area. Well, it does affect the area. And I think we're being very generous when we say that people can park anywhere, because now we're talking about 3 and 4 and 5 deckers and 5 families and 6 family homes on the major street are all going to be infiltrating to the side streets because they can't park there. But that's the nature of the beast. That's where you selected to live, and then you have to make provisions where you park like everybody else. When I had a problem, I made another driveway. And I suffer the pains because we made one of my streets no parking, which I think is great for the safety of the community and the children at the Bar School being picked up and discharged when they go there. But we have to start someplace, and if we keep prolonging this, my only urge to you is don't draw it out too much, because I find that when we draw things out in government, they disappear, and then nothing, because everybody loses the will to go forward with it. And we have to think in the party of not 1 or 2 individuals. We have to think for the majority of the people and keep ourselves, our personal opinions in abeyance and try to do what's right for the majority of the people. And so I think this is probably the greatest move we've ever made in this particular effort, and I don't want to see it stalled. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, I wasn't saying we should delay it. If we vote today, I just want you to know that it's going to take time to fully implement it. There's a lot involved. Procuring the stickers.
I say get it rolling.
Well, that's our intent, but I don't want people to think because we vote this today, next week everyone's getting a sticker.
No, what I'm saying is approve it. Take your time, take your 3 or 4, 5 months to get it operational.
That was what I meant.
But approve it, but you've got something on the books that's approved.
Okay.
And again, there's going to be so many people coming up for modification. I see it, Ira Novoselsky's up here every other, because of different issues of modification parking in his area. So we're going to have to live with that the rest of our lives until we get it right. But at least start something here, because we need immediate results. We can't wait.
And I'm not opposed to going to 12 a.m., but we talked about this before. There's a couple of business districts that will have to address that. So I'm not opposed to that.
Well,
maybe the parking control where the businesses are can wait till 1 o'clock to do the enforcement
Well,
in those areas.
I'm thinking most
and
of
we
the
can-
businesses that we're talking about are probably lounges, and, it wouldn't be a bad idea to see them all go home at 12.
Well, that's a whole different discussion.
Thank you.
The police would be happy with
Well,
that.
At least the residents will have a peaceful night. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're
I'm
welcome.
sorry for the...
Thank you, Counselor.
I'm sure that we can leave some discretion up to traffic enforcement that they're not going to go down to some business and start enforcing resident parking. We can leave them some discretion.
So
I'm
if
sure
that's
that-
the case, I'd like, right now, we amend it to 12 a.m.
12.
as we continue
I mean,
the hearing.
originally it was 12 a.m. to
Let's
6
put it
a.m.
back
12
Yeah, I think
a.m.
that
to
would-
6 a.m.?
to
Yeah,
5 a.m.
No, but I would say 6 o'clock, Chief Guido.
It was originally proposed 12 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Because you can still disturb the neighbors by getting in the car at 5. Usually people get up at 6 o'clock, they go to work, but
Right.
5 o'clock is a little early. So I think 12 to 6 is, can I just say something? This is
Sure.
Joanne McKenna, Ward 1 Counselor. When Counselor Janino and I wrote this, we adopted it from Winthrop. We did tweak it, and it's been tweaked ever since, but we tried to adopt it, and it's working in Winthrop, and I know Winthrop's half the size of Revere, but they do have 12 to 6 parking. The other thing I just want to address, Chief Guido, thank you very much for addressing the one-ways. I really appreciate that from my heart. I got a lot of calls, and a lot of texts, a lot of emails, and some of them were very nasty. So I thank you for addressing that, and like you said, moving forward, we'll give it a 60-day trial. I just want to tell the residents that June 12th at the Revere Police Station at 7 o'clock, I will have a forum for those people, and they can address their concerns and opinions. I'll tell you, I drove down there last night, and it was so sweet driving down there without any debacle. So it was great. I just have a couple of questions for the body. First of all, the time is great. Thank you. I think that's a great thing to do it from 12 to 6. I don't think you should do it from 12 to 5. With Arthur's concern, he wants to speed this. I think you should you could implement the wards that don't have any permit parking, and start it as soon as possible, overnight parking, and when the sticker program winds down, that everybody has gotten their stickers, maybe you could implement the wards that don't have any sticker programs or any kind of restrictions in July, so we can get this going. And then all those people that bought stickers now, we can wait until January. So that would help the parking too, because they won't be over inundated with buying the stickers, getting their visitors passes and everything. The other thing I'd like to say is that I don't think we should charge for the visitors passes either. I think if we're going to have the sticker program, I think if you're a resident in Revere, I don't think there should be a charge for a visitor's pass. That's just my opinion, but we're going to give the stickers for nothing, and we're only going to give one visitor's pass per household. If there's a 3-decker, then they'll get 3 of them, but I really don't think we should charge them. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for doing this, and
Okay.
Thank you again, Chief Guido, for addressing that problem.
Press the button, sir.
Hello, everybody. My name is Philip Russo. I wanted to first ask a question. There's a noise ordinance in the city. So when there's a party or something going on, it has to be called at a certain hour of time. What time is that? 11 p.m. Okay. Well, if it's 11 p.m., then why aren't the visitors passes starting? Well, no, I don't think it's 9. Chief Guido, would you know that answer with the ordinance for the time?
I don't think there's a time. It's reasonableness. Can't have a DJ in the yard at 9 o'clock at night, unless it's a summer night and it's one time, but
Well, you need a- you
we
need a
usually
permit for
go
that,
around 11 o'clock. The party's over.
Okay. My suggestion, I'm sorry, Chris?
The noise ordinance is about 5 pages long.
Okay. So it's more up to the discretion of the officer when they go to okay.
My suggestion was going to be if the ordinance was a certain time, maybe we should start at that time or roughly after that, so that the people have to know that the visiting hours are now over. You know, in most common buildings, if you go into a high-rise, the owners usually get 1+. So why doesn't it work similar for the homeowners? You know, we're going to offer 1+, maybe offer something that we can purchase to have the secondary visitor pass. But visitors passes should be for the owners of the properties and what they're allowed to do. We're already paying taxes on those things. Taxpayers are the ones that really need the passes. We're concerned about all the overnight parking and the people that don't belong, that aren't registered here. I'm hoping that as time goes on, these people are going to be registered here as well as they're going to be paying taxes.
Right.
This is what our hope is. So if we could work on whatever the noise ordinance or what would be helpful for the police department to work coordinately with the time for the pass to start and stop.
Well, the visitor pass is good all night. There's no time restriction on a visitor pass. And as far as the charge for the visitor pass, I know originally we had talked about charging $5 for a resident pass. The cost of getting this program off the ground is quite significant. So we had hoped to charge for the visitor pass just to try to defray the cost a little bit. So it is a very, in fact, Mr. Rose, I think, can speak to this a little later. It is quite a very expensive thing to get off the ground. But the visitor pass is good throughout the night.
Okay.
So-
How is this going to work for the commercial vehicles? For the people that are registered here in the city with commercial vehicles that have been parking for years on the street that now have to park in a driveway? Are they going to be issued a certain pass if they're paying excise tax to the city? Are they going to be allotted something so that they don't have to move their vehicles and send them to another city and we don't lose the excise taxes?
Okay, Mr. Janino.
Commercial vehicles are a separate ordinance right now, and we do provisions for commercial vehicles on the street. And currently, right now, Chelsea, Winthrop, Everett do not allow any commercial vehicles at all. No passes, no exemptions. We do allow them in Revere.
So if you have a commercial pass, you would be able to park through the night as it stands now,
Okay.
if it's registered.
The
to your
reason
home.
for my question bringing it up is because I know of two companies in themselves that the owners of the company drive their own vehicle. It's a pickup truck with a commercial plate on it. They were parking on Park Ave in Revere and off on Reservoir.
Okay.
Both vehicles, both people were ticketed multiple times for parking in front of their own home, for paying taxes for their vehicle, even though it's commercial.
Did they purchase
They didn't
a commercial?
purchase any commercial pass.
Okay.
So-
They are allowed to purchase a commercial pass. That's why they were ticketed.
Is this something that can be brought up in front of the council so that this can be taken care of? Because there's a lot of people like myself that drive a commercial vehicle.
Right.
And, I mean, I park in my driveway.
Okay.
But for the circumstances, if I have someone that wants to stay overnight,
Right.
and I decide I want to put them in, I have handicapped parents. I might want them to park in my driveway for easy access.
Okay.
And I would like to park on the street. Do I have to apply for a special pass to park on the street separately?
Yes, you would purchase a commercial pass.
So it would be a commercial overnight pass? It'd be a
Yes.
one-time pass, or is it something for the year?
No, it's for the year.
Currently, there's an ordinance in effect for the commercial passes, and they go for year to year. We're in the second year of the program right now, and it's been working pretty good.
So yes, you are able to purchase a pass for your commercial vehicle as long as you're a Revere resident. That exists now, and that's good for overnight.
All right, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Yes, John Benetti, 34 Dana Street. I have a couple of questions with the one visitor's pass. That seems like just not enough, because you could have two visitors at the same time. So what are you supposed to do? I can understand not giving two to each vehicle. I happen to have two vehicles.
Okay.
So I've been receiving four. I don't mind receiving two, but one would really limit, knock them down to one person if they both come at the same time. So and I understand, you know, the $10 for the visitor's pass, I don't seem to have a problem with that. You gotta pay for the program somehow.
Right.
Right, and then the last meeting we were discussing, we were gonna leave the signages the way they are in my area.
In the commuter areas, yes, we are. We're not going to
So-
disturb that. If
so
that's
that-
working in your area,
Yeah.
we're not going to disturb that.
That wasn't gonna change.
Right.
Okay, and the overnight, I don't really have a problem.
Now, the overnight, are you saying that you have visitors staying overnight?
I might at some point in time, but
But
So it's, because this is only for overnight,
Right.
so if you're having visitors staying through the night, is
Right.
that, if they're coming for a barbecue or a party
Right,
and
yeah.
they're gone by
Visitors pass.
by midnight, you're all set. The
Right.
visitor pass is only from midnight to 6 AM.
Okay,
So if you have overnight people, then that's
Okay.
I mean, do you have a driveway?
yes.
Yeah, you could even pull your own car out, because you'll have a sticker.
Well,
and you can-
generally, that's what I have to do because
you can
I have-
allow
I
your
have people that
visitors-
I have friends of mine, actually, Jimmy Russo,
Okay.
ex-chief, he comes to my house and he's handicapped, so,
Okay.
you know, he has to park in my yard.
Right,
when
so
he
you're
comes.
able to put your car on the road, and you
Yeah.
can allow your visitors to park in your driveway.
So that's,
Okay.
you know, basically, so we're gonna leave everything the way it is and just that.
We're not changing the
Yeah.
times for the commuter in your area.
The overnight, you know, the 1 to 5, I didn't have a problem with that. I can see the 1 to 6, I have, you know, cars are leaving in my area before 6 o'clock too. You know, I'm actually, I leave at 4 o'clock in the morning to
Right.
go to the gym.
Okay,
And nobody complains that I'm leaving at 4 o'clock, so.
okay,
So, the way it is now doesn't seem to be too bad, but the visitors passes, I would like to see at least 2 per apartment, if that's.
per house, an apartment is a household, so.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay, you're welcome. Anyone else wishing to speak? Press the button there.
Cynthia Kaner, 420 Revere Beach Boulevard, which is also Jack Satter House. Okay, I just wanted to bring something to your attention, and if you can keep it into consideration when
Sure.
you do all this. Originally, I do not have a parking spot in the parking lot at the Jack Satter House because I am on a waiting list.
Okay.
So that means that I am parking my car on Oak Island Street or on the boulevard. Originally, when the list was published, Oak Island Street was on the list. I tried to get a parking sticker. I was told that since my address is on the boulevard, that I am not eligible for a parking sticker. Now, it's not just affecting me, it's affecting other people, other residents that are on the waiting list to get into their parking lot because the parking lot's not large enough.
Okay,
They never expected elderly people to be driving this long, you know, or living this long. So I said, okay, but today I went over again to try to get a parking sticker, even though I noticed that it's not on the current list, Oak Island Street. Again, I was told that I could not get a parking sticker because my address was on the boulevard. So I just want you guys, when you do the modification and everything, if you can take into consideration the people that do have to park on Oak Island Street or on the boulevard, because the beach, you know, beach season is coming, and it's going to be very crowded.
okay, no, it sounds like you do have a problem, I'm
Mr.
sure we'll be
Chairman.
able to,
Can I
Yeah,
make a suggestion?
of course you can.
For the Sada House, that the people bring a letter from the Sada House management that they don't have a parking space yet.
Right.
Bring it to the parking department. That will allow them to have a sticker until they get a parking space.
That seems very reasonable.
it will take.
And the ones that do have a parking space will not be eligible for a
Right,
sticker.
they need a letter
Right.
saying that they don't have a
So,
spot.
Jimmy Rose, would that be acceptable to you? Do you see a problem with that?
There's no problem with that at all.
So I think they should just bring some verification to the parking clerk that they don't have a parking space, attested to by the building management,
Okay,
and they should be eligible to get a sticker.
Okay.
That's a
Now,
great suggestion.
Would you guys contact the management of the Jack Satter House?
no, you would
Or
bring some
No,
sort of a
each
letter saying that
resident
you're on a
Each,
waiting.
because I'm sure there's many of us. I just recently moved in, so I'm
Okay.
trying to do everything by the books, and I'm
Right.
officially
Well, thank you.
registered in the city and my car, and I'm a lifelong resident, so I just want to do everything legally, and I wanted you guys to take that into consideration.
Right.
Because
No, I'm
we're
sure.
not, you know, parking in anyone's driveway or anything,
Right.
and not only just, the letter sounds great,
Right.
with the modification for that, but I was even thinking like, you know, if you guys wanted like a citywide, you know, sticker program or something, as long as your car is registered. And I'm nervous, and I've never done this before, so.
Okay, don't be nervous, we're certainly.
Okay, so
And
I hope I expressed myself all
You
right.
did, very well, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and I just want to make clear to all the residents, this isn't something that we're looking to discourage parties or discourage barbecues or wait around the corner to get you if you're having a graduation party. We want to help the residents out that are living here. This is for people that have rooming houses and boarding houses and Airbnbs or want to register a car outside the city just for insurance purposes. That's who we're trying to curtail here.
So should I wait like a week or two before I go and get my letter and then go into the parking office?
Okay.
Because they just flat out don't seem to quite grasp everything because everything is in flux.
Right. So, Mr. Ginny, am I correct in saying that Oak Island Street is a commuter street right now, or I believe, I remember that coming before the Traffic Commission. John Powers had presented it, that and Beverly Street, I believe.
Oak Island Road's commuter from Bridge Street. Oak Island Road to Bridge Street.
Okay, that's road, that's not,
Yeah, the other side.
All right.
Oak Island Street's not on the commuter parking list right now.
that's not on the,
No.
Okay.
Do you remember, though, there's over 90 different properties
right,
listed on this ineligible list.
okay. Is Jack Sad House one of them?
Jack's Hat is one of them.
Okay.
One out of 90 properties.
Okay,
So we have to figure out if you want to do it on a case-by-case basis.
right.
Or some discretion involved with the,
Yeah, I'm sure we can make some allowances for people at the Jack Sad House that are in the predicament that this resident's in.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to work that out.
Okay, so I'll wait until I see something
Okay.
on Revere.org or on Facebook or whatever,
Okay.
or until or the Journal or
And
something.
maybe speak to Mr. Rose before you leave. He may be able to help you out
Okay.
quicker than that.
All right, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other residents that wish to speak? Hi.
Mary Gandolfo, Riviera residents. I had a couple of questions. I just wanted to, I printed this from the website. It was a small edification of what
Okay.
the changes were. And
It is on, just if you
Is
could.
that on?
It's on.
I'm
if you could.
short,
Okay,
so
just
I
bend it
probably
right down.
have to
Okay.
bring it down. So I'm seeing on, it looks like item number 1, the city-wide resident parking regulation, and then B. The first sentence says valid residential parking sticker, and down further it says a valid overnight residential parking sticker. Are there two different kinds of stickers, or did they just?
There's two different kinds of stickers. One for overnight which we haven't started yet. One will be for overnight parking from 12 to 6 a.m. The other is if you're in a commuter area. And that's depending on how that area is posted. Some's 24 hours and some,
So if you're not in a commuter area,
right. You would get a sticker,
which would be called a what,
resident
overnight?
overnight sticker parking, yes.
It would be called an overnight residential parking sticker, as
Yes,
long as you're
correct.
not in a commuter area.
If you're not in a commuter area,
Okay, I was a little confused because two different
okay?
terms were used here, and I didn't know which meant which. And I thought I heard that you were going to remove the street names from the stickers, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Of the street name where you live. Is that
Right.
correct, Mr. Rose?
Presently, yes, now. In the future, we'll just abbreviate the streets.
So that you're not really gonna remove the street name totally?
Just an abbreviation.
So you'll have,
Right.
so if you're on Broadway, what will it say?
It might say BRL, it could be,
Yeah,
Oh, only a,
right.
only.
So nobody would be able to identify you
So
at
only those
malls.
3 letters, not the first syllable?
Right.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because
Right. Your address will not be on your sticker.
yeah,
Okay.
and not the full street name.
Right.
Not to interrupt, but can I ask a question
Sure.
to Mr. Rose? If the overnight sticker allows you to park anywhere in Revere, we're not talking the commuter sticker.
Right.
Why does it need that on it? Just needs the license plate.
That's all we'll have. That's all we'll have.
Doesn't need any abbreviation, any street, they're the same everywhere. The commuter ones are different, we're trying to prevent,
Right.
like, we don't want someone with a commuter sticker in Ward 4 using it to park at the Beachmont train station.
Okay, I
Right.
understand.
So that's why there's a street on those.
Okay, but not the
But
residential.
for the resident, I don't think it's
You
necessary.
will not have an address.
Overnight,
Right.
residential
Okay.
overnight won't have the name of the street or an abbreviated part of
No.
the name of the street. Is that right?
That's right.
Thank you. I think women in Revere feel much safer already right now. Let's see. And the listing of streets that are commuter and whatnot, this says list an identity of streets affected by commuter.
Yes, we would be
Not-
generating that list,
Okay.
because we want to get all the times correct that are in these different areas right now.
And they're all posted by signage.
Right.
Okay.
So you would know if you were on one of those streets.
Okay.
It would be on the street.
And one more question, the overnight residential parking sticker,
Mm-hmm.
you can park in any street with that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I do like the hours that were previously from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. I will say I prefer the 12 to 6 a.m.
Okay, I think we've pretty much decided that we're going to stick with 12 to 6.
12 to 6, not the 1 to 5.
1 to 5, nope.
12 to 6 sounds good, okay. So that was pretty much my concerns, and I wanted to clarify that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, you're welcome. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor or have a question? If you have a question, or maybe you don't know if you're... Hi.
My name's Teresa Bagnera.
Press again. Yeah, you should. There you go,
Now,
go ahead.
Teresa Bagnera, I live in Beachmont.
Okay,
Now, I have my daughter and her husband coming over, like, for dinner on Thursdays, like around 5:30ish.
yeah.
Do I need visitor passes for that?
In the commuter area, if it's 24 hours?
It's Beachmont, near Short Beach, a block up. 980 Winthrop Ave is my address, actually. 980 Winthrop Ave. 980? Yeah.
We're going to go, eventually, we're going to have,
But,
Oh, I need visitors passes for them to come over for dinner on a Thursday.
hold on, Mr. Chairman. We
Yes.
put the 2-hour window in there.
Right, we put it right. We put a
So if
2-hour.
they're there 2 hours or less, you don't need a visitor pass.
Okay, but if they stay more than 2 hours.
Right, we were
which they
trying to make it
usually do,
reasonable.
I need a visitor's pass?
Right now, no.
I don't have a driveway, no.
Right. As
Right
it-
now, you're not on the resident sticker parking area right now.
No, I'm not.
And
No.
the program that they're trying to get in is overnight. So either way, as it stands now in the ordinances, and with the change in the ordinances, you're good until midnight for your company.
So I don't need a visitor's pass for them?
No,
They're not going to get ticketed?
no.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Sure.
So I think the last meeting, I did say that I wanted to extend some streets for permit parking, because what's happening is now we're starting to get where they're not, where there's permit parking, they're parking after the signs. And I think Winthrop Ave was one of them.
Okay.
And Crescent Ave was one of them,
So as it stands now?
Right
that
now,
doesn't exist? and,
it
you know,
doesn't exist,
Whether that
but-
gets passed or not, that, you know.
So
and
I
then-
just want you to know that it might pass as the whole street, because what's happening is we're getting people that are parking, we have permit parking from, I think, 8:58, and then there's no permit parking, so those people are leaving their cars and they're walking down the station. So we're having a problem down there, we're having a problem on Cross Street, Webster Ave, Crescent Ave, so eventually, those streets are gonna be permit parking. So, but we'll, like Chief Gatto said, you have a 2-hour window, and if you have a friend that has a driveway, maybe, no, I don't have a driveway either, so.
I have a question, though. Last time I was here, somebody said that if there's an out-of-state...
Press the button.
There's an out-of-state car in front of your house, which I see 1 or 2 here
Right.
and there where I live. You can call 311 and report it, and they can take care of it. So that would settle that in my area, instead of making a hardship for all the people a block from Short Beach, which They're not doing that. It's just the person across the street who has overnight guests all the time. I
Right, so
know.
you don't feel like people are parking there and walking to the train
No.
station? No? Okay.
No, we don't have that problem
You
where
don't
I
have that,
am. I've
okay.
been there for 27 years.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Okay, we'll close that side of the hearing. Anyone opposed to this overnight parking? Wishing to speak? Okay, thank you. I'll close that side of the hearing. Do I hear a motion to pass overnight sticker
Hold on,
park?
Mr. Chairman, hold on.
Sure, go right ahead.
First motion I'll make is we amend back to 12 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Well, I believe that's how it exists.
Well, we need to vote.
We can clarify, okay. A motion's on the floor to make it from midnight to 6 a.m. Second? All in favor, all opposed? Aye.
My next motion would be, for now, we exclude the address of the Sata House
Okay,
on the list.
we can do that. We'll strike that from the list. And the residents of the Jack Sata House who have a letter that says that they're on a waiting list and do not have a parking space at this moment will be able to obtain a resident sticker pack.
That suffices.
Okay?
If we're going to exclude them from the list, do we need them to have a letter?
No, let's go with the letter. I'll amend the motion that
Right, I mean, if they
Jack
have,
Sata House is
have a
eligible
spot,
for a
they have a
sticker
spot.
with a letter.
okay. Okay. So they'll keep them on the list. And if they have a letter that they don't have a spot, we'll provide them with a sticker. Do I hear a second? All in favor, all opposed?
The next,
So, go
yes,
ahead.
the next motion is that we confirm that there's a 2-hour grace period. You don't need a visitor pass. I
In the
guess that
commuter
would-
areas.
In the commuter areas. This gentleman brought up a good point. If someone is coming over for dinner, I don't think people should have to run and get a visitor pass to have someone over for lunch.
Okay. Do I hear a second to that?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
about that? So that's only in the commuter areas, is that right?
Right, because
Not
the rest
overnight.
is overnight parking, so we wouldn't be doing that. Okay, second? All in
And
favor, all opposed? So ordered.
I'll make a motion, number 5, we do enforcement overnight to start Monday through Friday and excludes Saturday, Sunday, and holidays. And if it's a problem, we can always add Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay. Second to that? Second? All in favor, all opposed? You getting all this, Chris?
It's on the list.
Okay.
And lastly, Mr. Chairman, I intend to vote for this today, but I just want all the councils to know and all the residents that there'll be a time period to implement this, and this won't happen overnight. There's a lot of work ahead. There's probably some bidding that has to take place for the stickers and the mailing. There's quite an expense here.
Right, and it all has been
And-
funded, that's correct.
And I do have one more motion.
Okay,
I think the people should pay for the visitor passes because we only want people to come get visitor passes who really need them.
right.
And if you give them out wholesale, everyone will be sharing them and we'll be defeating the purpose of the overnight parking.
Okay.
So for now, I think we should stick
Well-
to charging for the visitor pass.
Okay, that's in there now, so we don't have to, that's correct, Sergeant Genino?
So that's a motion.
That's in there. No, the $5 has been struck. I think it's $10 for a visitor pass. Yeah. $10 for a visitor pass
Per year.
per year. Okay? And that's for one pass. Okay, do I hear a second for that? Just what's that? The motion is to charge $10 for a visitor pass and 1 per household, as it exists now. That's in the proposal already. We're just
Okay.
reaffirming it.
Then we'll leave it as is.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Are we all set? Do I hear a motion to have resident sticker parking overnight for the entire city with these amendments that we've just made? Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All in favor, all opposed? So ordered.
Just so you know, on here also, that the applicants aged 65 years and older and disabled veterans don't get charged for visitor passes.
Okay.
They're exempt from the fees.
So
the
clarification from...
Seniors and veterans are exempt,
Okay.
right in the ordinance.
So clarification from Sergeant Janino, if you're a senior or a veteran, and you're over 65, or there's no charge for the visitor pass. A disabled veteran, thank you. Okay?
Mr. Chairman? The only reason I'm encouraging we charge for the passes so that they're just not passes everywhere.
Well, no, I agree
It'll
with you.
defeat the whole program. I'm not looking to make money.
No, I know, but
Okay.
it's going to
I
cost
just
a
wanna
significant amount
clarify
of
that.
money to get this rolling, so...
Because I know the social media will twist the comments around, and I
Right.
wanted to clarify that.
Thank you for that. Okay? So moving on, number 2, the Commission on Disability requests a public hearing to install handicap parking at the following locations. 1 Leonard Road. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of establishing? Sure.
Just want to thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you very much for
Okay.
passing this.
You're welcome. This is 1 Leonard Road. Okay. So I believe,
I'm going to talk, I'll speak on behalf of it. I went by 1 Leonard Road today, and I checked the street over there. It's more of an issue of the width of the street.
okay,
And rather than a handicap spot, I'd prefer there be no parking at all on that side of the street.
Okay.
On Leonard Road. And I talked with the homeowner, and she agrees with me also.
okay. So where would the handicapped person park? There's no
We're not going to
handicap.
have the handicap.
Okay,
We want to remove the handicap request and change it to a request for public hearing for next meeting
okay.
for a no parking on that side of the street.
On the Leonard Road?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll move that to a public hearing. Okay? We'll take care of it.
Can we have clarification? Ma'am, are you looking for a handicap spot? No, okay.
Okay, fine. Request for a public hearing for 81 Cushing Ave. Anyone here in favor of that?
For a point of information, I went by that address today, there's a driveway
Yes?
at that location, and there's no handicap ramps or anything else. And in my opinion, they don't qualify.
Okay. Okay, so do I hear a motion to deny this request?
Motion to deny 81 Cushing.
Second?
Did Mr. DeChico weigh in on this?
Yes, I
He
keep- I have-
recommends
I have
we
all-
vote it down?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay, thank you. So the
Just
request
wanna
for
make
81
sure,
Cushing
Sarge.
Ave has been denied. The third and final on handicap parking is 42 Florence Ave. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of a handicap sign there? We have some information, Sergeant?
I went by 42 Florence Day also, I spoke to Mr. Chico also on this here. There's it's a multi-unit apartment there with 6 names in the mailboxes,
Okay,
and there is a driver there also, and the house itself is not handicapped accessible,
okay,
so I already denied that for now.
okay. A motion to deny 42 Florence.
So moved.
So moved. Second? All in favor, all opposed? 42 Florence is denied. Now, we have some requests here to move some certain things to a public hearing. This is a request from Councilor Novoselsky from the residents of Kimball Ave that the Traffic Commission amend Schedule 6 of Title 10, Heavy Commercial Vehicles Restricted Streets by adding the following: Kimball Ave easterly from the VFW Parkway to North Shore Road, Kimball Ave westerly from North Shore Road to VFW Parkway, and Beach Street northerly from Beach Street to Kimball Avenue. Okay, we move that to a public hearing.
This has to go before the state also.
Okay,
So we have to vote on this here.
okay,
I believe the council has to vote on it also.
okay,
And then we have to take the information that we get from the state, the city traffic commission and the council, and have the mayor's office request the ordinance be changed through the state.
Okay, very good. So we'll move this to a public hearing. Motion to move it to a public hearing.
Motion to move to a public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, all opposed? Okay, the next thing is, this is a request from the mayor's office, that the mayor request the traffic commission to roll back the hours of operation of parking meter enforcement on Broadway and Shirley Avenue to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and eliminate parking meter enforcement on Saturday. Do I hear a request to send this to a public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, do we have any information about the basis for this request?
Sergeant Janino, do you have some?
Just to clarify this here, we already made the request to extend the hours over the winter.
Okay,
There was a problem originally with the signage. There was conflicting signage on Broadway and Shirley Avenue. When they started implementing the program, they were tagging the cars at 6 o'clock, the sign said 5 o'clock. The signs have currently been removed. The meters are all stated the 7 o'clock time.
Mhm.
And there were only 2 complaints made
okay.
in regards to this issue. So I would just table it or
Deny the request, okay.
Motion to table.
Motion to table?
Second.
Second.
Motion to table until the next meeting, and then we can decide if we need a hearing. I
Okay, thank
agree.
you very much. All in favor or opposed? We'll table that. Request by the mayor's office that the mayor request the traffic commission to repeal the provision of the commercial vehicle parking ordinance which allows for the permitting of take-home company vehicles not registered to the city of Revere.
I'm not doing it.
Okay, Sergeant Janino.
I believe this came in through Councilor Keefe through the mayor's office. And as far as the commercial vehicles go, the program's working pretty good right now, and I wouldn't change a thing on it.
Okay,
There's only a few vehicles that are take-home that are registered out of the city. I don't see a need to repeal that, or change that ordinance at all right now.
okay, so now these people that do have these take-home vehicles, are they getting a commercial parking sticker?
Right now, they're getting the stickers, yes.
They're getting stickers and they're paying for stickers?
Yes, the problem is the ones that aren't getting the stickers, they're getting ticketed. But this is to try to repeal the whole out-of-town take-home vehicles.
Okay,
So if you, say you have a shop over in Melrose, but your house is in Revere, you own the business in Melrose,
you're right,
we allow you to take your truck home
okay,
with the current sticker.
okay,
And he was trying to repeal that.
We also made it that it had to be like a vehicle, a pickup truck or a van, not a box truck. No ladders, staging,
okay,
like you're a foreman and your company gives you a pickup truck, that's your vehicle.
okay, and you're
That's
buying,
their
and they're buying a
personal car.
sticker? Okay,
Right.
so.
I
we just-
motion we lay that on the table also for now.
Second? Second, very good. All in favor, all opposed, we'll table that. And I think that's it. Motion to adjourn. Oh, when's the next meeting? Let's set the next meeting date, yeah.
Go for May 30th,
May 30th, that's the last Thursday in May?
last Thursday in May.
Okay.
4 o'clock here.
4 o'clock, okay. So it's a motion for the next meeting on May 30th, thank you, and motion to adjourn. Motion so moved, thank you.